Hello BookTube, welcome to Lizzie Faye Loves Books. I'm Elizabeth and this video is going to be all of the middle grade books that I read during the month of May. The last week of May was the Middle Grade May Reads Readathon that was hosted by Akos from her channel, Akos with a K, and I absolutely love middle grade books. I got started reading Newbery winners quite a few years ago, and ever since then I just cannot get enough middle grade books. So when I heard about the Middle Grade May Readathon, I knew that I had to participate. Now in my TBR I showed a giant stack of middle grade print books that I wanted to read. I didn't get nearly all of those read. I did read quite a lot, but I ended up listening to a few more audiobooks than I originally had planned, and so it all kind of evened out. During the last part of May, I read 8 middle grade books. I started a little bit before the readathon, and then I continued on through most of the rest of May reading middle grade books. So not all of these were from the actual readathon week. Then I also had a couple of middle grade books earlier in the month during RibSets. So let me show you what I read. A few days before the middle grade readathon started, I went ahead and picked up Gregor and the Code of Claw by Suzanne Collins. This is the 5th and final volume in the Underland Chronicles series, and it's really, really good. I went ahead and just kind of stretched this out and read this all the way up until the last day of the month. So I kept reading other stuff in between, so I would pick this up and read a little bit, and then I would put it down and read something else. This book is very good. I don't know why the series has not been made into movies yet. I think they would make great movies. Probably they might have to be animated. If you don't know anything about this series, it's wonderful. It is about a young boy, I think he's 12. Him and his sister falls into a vent or a shaft of some sort, and they end up in this large underground world that's filled with not only humans but giant bats and rats and spiders and scorpions and all kinds of stuff like that. Some are allied with the humans and some are not, and they're just great. I really, really have enjoyed the series, and I'm glad now to be finished, but I'm sad too. I first started reading this in this hardback copy that I had purchased originally for my daughter's middle school library. But if you watched my Scholastic Warehouse book haul, you will know that I got my own paperback copy, which more closely matches the other paperbacks that I have of the series. So I finished it in my own brand new paperback copy. The first few days of the Middle Grade May Reads Readathon, I was able to read one book a day, in addition to chinking away at the audiobooks I was listening to and the Underland book and things like that. So let me show you what I read each day. I started the first 3 days of the readathon. I read the first 3 Spiderwick Chronicle books, and they're just very tiny, very little. Each book only has a little over 100 pages, so these were very easy to get through in a short amount of time. The first one is called The Field Guide. The second one is The Seeing Stone. And the third one is Lucinda's Secret. This series is about twin boys and their older sister. They have moved into an old home that was originally owned and lived in by some of their ancestors, and they discover that there are fairies and other fae type characters that are living in their house and around their house, and it's just really fun. It's a little dark, but I did thoroughly enjoy this, and I am looking forward to reading the next 2 in this series. And then I believe that there is another series after this that is called Beyond, I think it's called Beyond the Spiderwick Chronicles. So I will definitely continue on. These were just the only 3 that I personally owned. I've picked these up at book sales. So if I don't find the rest of them very soon, I will probably just go ahead and check out the rest of them from the library. Then I read the first 2 Wizard of Oz books. The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, of course these are by L. Frank Baum, and then the second book is The Marvelous Land of Oz. And I really did enjoy these. The first one, probably I enjoyed it a little bit more because I was more familiar with the story, but it was interesting, the differences. Now I knew a few of the differences going in. I knew that the slippers were silver and not ruby. Now the second book I didn't enjoy quite so much. It really is a little slow in parts. But it was very entertaining. I think really though that this story would be best suited for a very young child who's really too young to read this themselves, but would benefit from having a parent read this to them over a period of several nights, like at bedtime. That's how I picture this being a really good book. And I think I would have enjoyed that as a kid because it's very imaginative. It almost feels like a kid is making it up as they go along because of all the random parts and pieces that are used to put together different characters. But it's really good. I enjoyed it a lot. And then I went on and listened to the third book, Ozma of Oz, on audio on my computer. And I didn't know who Ozma was, but you find out at the end of book 2. So I won't say who Ozma is in case you haven't read this book. But they're very entertaining and a lot of fun. And I probably will continue on and read some more of the Oz series. Then I had hoped to read 3 of the Origami Yoda books, books 3, 4, and 5. I only got book 3 read, The Secret of the Fortune Wookiee, but that's okay. I will read the rest of them some other time. I did thoroughly enjoy this. This is also a really good friendship story. I talked a little bit about this series in my May recommendations video, which was on friendship stories. These books are primarily about boys in middle school, but there are some girl characters as well, and I just think they're really fun. They touch on some serious topics, but they're done in a fun way, and then you have the origami Star Wars theme running throughout, and it just makes for fun reading. Then after Middle Grade Maid Reads was officially over, I picked up the crossover by Kwame Alexander. This was the 2015 Newbery winner. I picked this up from the Bookmobile because this is also going to be one of the Sunshine State Young Reader Award finalists for the 2016-2017 school year. I've seen pictures of it, but I never looked inside it, and I was very pleased to find that it's actually written in verse. Well, actually, it's written in rap. A lot of this is done in rap style, and if you kind of read it out loud in your head, you can really get a feel for how it should be read. And so that part was very interesting and very and made for a really quick read. But the story, oh my goodness, I can tell why this has won some awards. Like I said, this was the Newbery winner last year. It also was an honor book for the Coretta Scott King Award, and it's so good. Oh my goodness, it's just really, really good. I don't want to give any spoilers, but I just had so many feelings and emotions, just so many good things about it. This is a story about twin brothers who are both fantastic basketball players, and their father is a former pro basketball player, and one of the brothers gets a girlfriend. So the other brother has to deal with now doing things by himself, not always having his brother there to play basketball with, and he's really bummed about that, and doesn't really make the best choices in reacting to the situation. And then there is a little bit of concern about their father's health, and so it's just the way it's told is great. The story itself is great. I had so many emotions, and it's just really a good story. So I highly recommend that you pick this up, especially if you love middle grade books. I also had one ebook that was sent to me by the author for review. It was Room 42 by Melody Bremen, and I'll show you a picture of it right here. Room 42 was really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars, and I don't know the author. I don't know Melody. I don't know how she found me, but I guess she saw that I read a lot of middle grade books and asked me if I would review her book. I thought it was very well done. It is about a young man who's at a boarding school. The boarding school is kind of a halfway point between regular school and juvenile delinquent facility. So basically it is a group of boys who have potential but also have issues that they are working out, and our main character has kleptomania. So I thought that the way that was handled was very good, because the the way the characters handle it in the book was good, and the way the author handled it was good, and I just thought that it really shed a good light on what people deal with when they're going through kleptomania, because they end up with things in their pockets that they don't even want, that they just compulsively take and don't even realize that they're taking them. It's just a compulsion. Now, that was just one of the side themes. That was what our main character was dealing with. But the main thing that takes place in the story is, at the beginning, a new kid comes who really starts to stir things up and brings in a lot of new ideas and different ways of doing things. And you're not really sure if it's good or bad. And some of it is good and some of it is bad. And the outcome that it has by the end of the school year is just really interesting. So it's definitely a good book. It's called Room 42. She's got a couple of other books out that I'm definitely interested in taking a look at if I get the opportunity. So I would recommend that you pick that up. It is available on Amazon. So if it sounds interesting to you, be sure and check it out. Alright, so that is all of the middle grade books that I read during the month. Now I have 3 different wrap-ups. My RibSat wrap-up I posted earlier in the month. I also have a video of my graphic novels and audiobooks that I listen to, and some of those are middle grade as well, so be sure you check that out. The amount of books that I read in May even surprised me. I don't know how I did it. So coming up will be just a little summary of what I read in May and how many of each thing and all that stuff, and then my June TBR. So for June, I'm planning to read big books, books that have 400 pages or more. So I'm excited about that, and I will hope to have that video ready for you as soon as possible. So that's all for this one, though. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.